Today, we're here to talk about what I think is among the great and most important uncertainties, and that is this question in healthcare. Will value actually replace volume in healthcare? And I want to make the case that the signals are no longer weak. The signals are growing very loud, and it's become abundantly clear that that is true and that we need to prepare. So a value payment would be when a material part of a healthcare payment is contingent either upon health outcomes or financial outcomes. They take a number of different forms. In some cases, it could be bundled payment, where a procedure or a condition, a lump sum is paid, and then there is a coordinator or convener, as we know it, that will in fact then adjudicate that process and assume the financial risk for having it being done well. Hence, the value payment. Or it's gain sharing against a baseline, where we establish a baseline of expenditures on a population and say to a group of healthcare providers, if you're able to provide quality care and keep the cost below that benchmark, we're going to share the benefit of that. In some cases, the benefit is upside and downside. In other words, the proposition is we're going to pay you slightly less on a guaranteed basis, but if you do better than average, we're going to pay you more, and if you don't do as well as average, you'll suffer part of the consequence. In other words, part of the outcome is based on either a health condition or a financial condition. And lastly, full capitation. This is, of course, when a group of healthcare providers assumes full responsibility for payment. So what are the weak signals about this? Well, I'm not going to go through all of this, but let me just say it is, in my mind, no longer a question that we're seeing this movement rapidly expand. Here's one interesting point. CMS has established a goal that, think about this, 80% of payments will have some level of financial accountability by 2018. Now, I need to tell you, I'm skeptical they'll make that. But the fact that they made the goal and the fact that they are now establishing a whole series of programs and procedures to back that up tells me that the biggest payer in the world for healthcare is very serious about that. So here is the conclusion that I'd like to lay out today in the context of our conversation. The weak signals are no longer weak, and that this transition of value-based payment is the most significant change in healthcare since the widespread adoption of employer-based health insurance. To miss it, to ignore it, is to be disadvantaged in a substantial way. To a large extent, this is about better coordination, and it's about who assumes risk. But the reality is, we're not very good at this, and it's hard. And we're having to learn new skills. But that's okay, because we are clearly moving this direction, and those who move and who honestly begin to do the work will in fact find that this is a remarkable opportunity for them. Those who lag behind, I think, will be what we know as the laggards on the diffusion of innovation curve. They'll be behind the curve. It'll be safer, but they will be disadvantaged by it.